A demon from the other world takes family away, members one by one. Don't miss out. The psychics will find who summoned the evil entity. But can they stop death? Welcome to Psychic Investigations, a channel of true and impressive stories. Here, people who call themselves clairvoyants investigate tangled criminal cases and shocking mystical anomalies. This woman's family is asking the psychics for help. Being 35, Kochubey says that her life is over.
I died with my child.
Ina's son, Anatoly, died under mysterious circumstances. It happened on the railway tracks in the town where the family lives.
A train hit my son. He was 17. I only lived for him.
Ina's older sister, Jana, says there's no formal crossing at the place where it happened. Yet the locals usually cross the tracks there. For many years, Anatoly also walked this path. That evening, he was returning home as usual.
Ina called him and he said, "Yes, Mom, I'll be home soon."
It was their last conversation, after which the boy stopped answering the calls.
Later, a policeman answered the phone and said Anatoly was dead.
The teenager who regularly crossed the railway tracks to and from home knew the train schedule well. Furthermore, when he saw him on the tracks, the train driver sounded the horn loud for a long time. Did Anatoly really see or hear nothing?
The police said it was an accident.
The train driver told the police that the young man seemed frozen on the track.
The driver said he was just standing there, as if something were holding him in place.
There are no witnesses to the tragedy, but everyone around heard the endless, piercing train horn.
He was pulled here from over there. It's about 20-30 meters.
No alcohol or drugs were found in Anatoly's blood. The investigators concluded it wasn't suicide, and the family insists he had no reason to do it. Anatoly graduated from school successfully and aspired to develop himself.
He was very talented, and he wanted to be a sound engineer.
I miss my child. I'd give anything to hear his voice.
But the most terrifying part is that this is the third death in the family within a short period. First, Ina's beloved husband passed away. The man died at 37 from a sudden heart attack.
The only thing I could say was, it's impossible.
The woman stayed alone, strangely, but on the same day, 3 months later, her sister's husband died, too. He was also 37, and his heart suddenly stopped as well.
I feel desolated and miss him terribly.
The women are convinced the evil entity, looking like a werewolf, is killing the men in their family. Each sister sees it at her home.
It's like an animal covered in fur, yet it resembles a human.
Some kind of werewolf.
The horrifying otherworldly creature appears before each death in the family occurs, as if it's mocking the sisters.
It choked me and laughed.
I start praying, but I can't utter the prayer, and I only hear the eerie laughter.
The mother didn't believe her daughters for a long time until she witnessed this ominous entity with her own eyes at her home.
It's like some kind of beast. It strangled me, and I couldn't get up or scream.
The women had their homes consecrated, bought protective talismans, hung horseshoes, and even consulted village seers to banish the evil entity, but all in vain.
Our family is dying out, like someone is finishing us off.
Now, the women worry about the remaining men in the family, their father, brother, and especially the youngest family member, Jana's son.
Losing your child is the worst thing imaginable.
Recently, 12-year-old Sasha narrowly escaped death. Someone invisible pushed him when he was at home, and he fell and hit his temple on the corner of a table.
He had a huge bruise on his head. It was awful.
The doctors said Sasha was lucky. If the impact had been a centimeter lower, he wouldn't be alive.
Please come and help us.
Azerbaijani psychic Kayal Alekbarov and Ukrainian clairvoyant Jana Shulakova agreed to help. On the eve of the investigation, Kayal arrived in Ukraine. On his way from the airport, he decided to call his colleague to discuss what he sensed. My jinns showed me a strange clock without hands and with strange symbols instead of numbers. Suddenly, the clock burst into flames. My jinns also showed me a woman's hand with a glinting needle, and they said, "Beware of the third yes."
Needles are often used in dark rituals, but what kind of werewolf is haunting the family? Let's find out. Reveal yourself.
Zana, it's behind you.
The next moment, it flung by me and seemed to enter the tablet screen like a portal.
We still don't know how to explain it, but the driver who was transporting the psychic and his translator suddenly fainted.
Are you all right?
Our driver fainted right after you summoned the entity. I barely kept control of the vehicle.
The werewolf didn't want us to interfere.
The next morning, the psychics are ready to proceed with their investigation.
Yesterday, I saw the spirit of a man in the mirror, the same man whose death I predicted many years ago when I was in Zakarpattia region. He was a young man. When I looked at him, I saw him lying, covered in blood at the feet of a woman. I remember warning him back then, "Be careful, you might die young."
Why did he come to see you now?
He said, "Tell her the whole truth. She's suffering greatly." It's weird that his spirit appeared while I was working with the photo of the family. They're somehow connected.
Hello?
I'm so grateful you've come.
Indeed, the werewolf-looking evil entity is involved in all the deaths in your family. But I never suspected that its appearance was linked to a horrifying murder. What's that strange sound?
Wait,
Someone's knocking.
like a bird pecking at a window pane. He's crying and
Jana? Do you see a spirit?
yes,
Who's that?
he's tall, dark-haired and thin.
That's my husband.
He says he knocked on your window before.
Yes, yes.
It turns out that after Ole's death, Jana and her son indeed heard strange knocking on the window at night.
My son and I woke up because someone was knocking on the window.
He says, "My kitty."
That's what he used to call me.
He's standing next to you, his hands are on your shoulders.
I felt him hugging me. I'll never forget you.
Your late husband wants to protect his son from this evil force.
He's telling me to look for a house with 2 dogs.
That's probably my mother's house.
The entity appeared there. Can we go there?
Yes.
My name is Larissa. This is my husband.
The spirit of Jana's husband brought us here.
He was like a son to us.
Come in.
Did you just hear the laughter? It was inhuman, eerie laughter.
Yes, someone laughed.
Apart from Jana and me, only those whom the entity was hunting heard its laughter, and the laughter sent chills down my spine.
I'm trembling.
The entity feeds on grief and despair. Let's go inside quickly. I I see the spirit of a young man. It's your grandson, who died under the train. Where is his mother?
She's here, but she's very unwell. She doesn't wish to live.
Your grandson's spirit says, "Tell Mom not to cry. She must continue living. I love her very much, and I love all of you."
Anatoly, my dear.
We love you very much, our dear boy.
He says, "This animosity makes you weak. Enough of it. I don't really understand what's going on." Anatoly, who did you see before your death?
What kind of entity is that?
Where did it come from?
Anatoly is showing me a needle.
Did you find any hidden needles here?
My husband did.
One needles, and then another tucked in like that.
It's possible the entity was bound to them.
Do you suspect anyone of this?
Yes, her name is Caleria.
Caleria is Larissa's best friend. During the celebration of her husband's birthday, while everyone was at the table, she, for some reason, went to this room, and then they found the needles hidden in the wallpaper.
Since then, all these misfortunes began.
The women haven't spoken for 10 years since the incident with the needles.
Your friend is connected to magic. I see books next to her.
She had some nasty spells in them.
She has a special room there with candles.
She practices witchcraft. That's why we suspect her.
Let's go to see her. As soon as everyone stepped into the yard, it started snowing, and Jana Shulikova inexplicably froze in place.
I see that young man again.
The one from Zakarpattia?
Yes. He's not related to you.
Not related and...
He said, "You'll learn the truth about my death from her." He's pointing at Larissa.
Who is he?
Jana, let's first deal with that woman.
Hello. We are here to help this family. You know them, don't you?
Of course I do.
You visited this family's house, and then they found some needles there.
I definitely didn't do it.
I came into the room, and you were sitting there alone, weren't you?
Honestly, I don't remember that. I never did any magic at all.
But I sense you did magic.
I recited prayers to ward off the evil eye.
Not just prayers, but also spells. But, Larissa, it wasn't your friend who summoned the entity.
Thank you, Kayal. I carried this burden for 10 years. I can only offer my condolences for your grief. I never wished any harm to you.
Now nothing spoils your friendship again.
We miss each other. Larissa, thank you so much.
But who left those needles then? Kayal Alekperov asked for a few minutes to work with his sacred book. A woman who used to be your neighbor brought the needles to the house. But the charm didn't work.
It has no connection to the terrible deaths in the family.
And then my djinn showed me the strange clock without hands again.
He had a dream about a clock.
It had little coffins instead of the hands.
I feel it's connected to your house. We need to go back there.
There he is. Stop.
What happened, Jana? Is that the dead boy from Zakarpattia?
He's lying on the ground, covered in blood. He was killed, Kayal.
He was killed right on this spot. But what does the spirit want from the psychics? And what does all this have to do with the family?
Her son killed him. This blood is on your family's hands.
Sasha did it.
The tragedy happened right here. But how come Larissa's son killed someone?
It happened because of a girl.
He wanted to protect her.
That evening, Alexander and his friends saw two men trying to rob a young girl.
We saw the girl crying. One started running away and the other was rummaging through her purse. We didn't intend to kill them. The things just got too heated.
You stood up for the woman and a fight started, right?
The fight started and ended right here.
That's why in my vision, I saw the dead young man next to a woman.
Was one of the victims from Zakarpattia?
Yes, he was somewhere from the west.
I heard him promise his mother to a lot of money before leaving home. His friend called him with him, saying he needed to collect a debt, but it was actually a planned robbery. When the friend attacked the girl, the young man from Zakarpattia was shocked.
He ran away because he got scared.
He wasn't a robber.
He keeps coming because the mother considers him a criminal.
He wanted us to tell the truth. But I sense that you believe the deaths in your family might be connected to this murder.
Yes. We thought Sasha's sin affected our entire family.
This idea occurred to the family members after Larissa's grandson tragically died on the railway track. It happened on the date when, 13 years ago, his uncle committed the murder.
The fact that Tolya died on November 4th and that Sasha killed those men on November 4th, could it really be a coincidence?
No, it's not a coincidence.
For my sins. My mother blames me too.
The family members turned into enemies.
My mother thinks I'm her enemy because I support Sasha.
The entity preying on men in your family appeared shortly after the murder. There is a connection between these two events.
The young man's spirit told me, return to their house.
The murdered man's spirit is showing me an image from the past. I see this room. There's a table and candles burning. And on the table, there's a round board with letters.
People summoning spirits.
Inna summoned a spirit. She drew a circle and wrote letters and moved a needle.
Why did you summon the spirit?
To ask when Sasha would be released.
The woman says she and her sister loved their brother and were deeply concerned when he was arrested. To find out if Alexander really killed someone and what would happen to him, they took a desperate step and decided to summon a supernatural force.
The board is often used during spirit summoning sessions. When the spirit responds, it moves the needle on a thread, pointing at the letters to spell out words.
He answered us letter by letter.
That's why you saw the clock of death in your dream.
We drew the board like a clock face.
We wanted to talk to my mother.
But that wasn't your mother's spirit at all. What did it say when it came?
I will take your soul.
Who did the sisters summon from the other world that he threatened to take their souls?
Oh, Lord.
To even understand this, we need a seance. And we need a table, paper, and a marker. Was it like this?
Yes.
We need to open the window. It will be our portal.
Who are you? Come to us.
It moved on its own. The needle. It was responding.
Are you here? Yes. Do you want to talk? Yes. Are you an entity? No. Are you a demon?
Dear God. The window slammed shut.
It's horrendous. The candle toppled. There can be a fire.
The women summoned a demon.
Help us, please.
We must send the demon back to the other world.
Using fire and the needle, I was supposed to summon the demon. and the family members were to offer him a ransom.
He's here. I see his horns.
I see the horns too.
Give him the ransom, quick.
Throw it.
The demon refused from the ransom. He tried to attack with fire.
Oh, dear God.
Kayal, you're bleeding.
Blood is what the demon wants. The demon accepted my blood. I see the spirit of your grandson, Larissa. He says, I can't bear to watch you argue. The murder committed by my uncle separated you and made you enemies.
The women can't hold back tears because it's true.
We're really enemies. It hurts so much.
It's painful to see. Our family is falling apart.
Family means protection, and only together you can resist any evil force.
I'm so grateful to you.
Thank you.
This is simply horrifying. A random crime destroyed a once happy family, but we hope that thanks to the psychics, these people can become close to one another again. If this story impressed you, don't forget to give this video a like and subscribe to our channel. Many more incredible investigations are coming up.